Bienvenidos todos. Welcome everyone. Muchas gracias por estar presentes. Thank you for being here. We are very excited to have you. My name is Jim Bacon. I'm a volunteer here. Mi nombre es Jim Bacon y soy un voluntario aquí. Tonight, I'm going to be introducing two people who are going to share some words with everyone here in remembrance of this great day. Hoy día voy a presentarles a dos personas quienes van a compartir algunas palabras para recordar este día de apertura de Con-Vivir. Primero escucharemos a Carrie Pogue, presidente del Atlantic County Society of Deaf. First we'll hear from Carrie Pogue, president of Atlantic County Society of the Deaf. And Carrie?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here this evening. Glad to have you here with us today. We are so happy to have our welcome event here at this building. It's been a long time in the making. Glad to have you here at Con-Vivir, those who've been with us for quite some time, the Con-Vivir Wellness Hub. Today we're here for our opening celebration. We're so proud to be hosting this event here today at this wonderful place with all of you. Before we get started, I wanted to express my thanks and congratulations to all of you who have helped us with this project and who've helped us to make this event happen and have helped us to become a success. The deaf community is here with us today. We have Paulina, we have Elias, we have Eli, we have Elvia, we have Letty, Channing. Everyone is here today with us. We would not be able to do this without all of you. I want to give specific attention to our deaf and hard of hearing community, who's a big part of this project. The deaf and hard of hearing folks are here to provide support and to contribute to Con-Vivir. Allies in Caring does recognize the South Jersey Coalition of the Deaf and Hard of Hearing and our community. We are growing and partnering and becoming successful with all of your support, individual and group. You are part of our success story, and we need all of you. And you need us. I don't want to take too much of your time this evening. I want to make sure I leave some time for the other presenter. So today is going to be a very fun event full of learning, and thank you all so much and welcome. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Carrie. And next with us is Yvette Guillermo, president of Allies in Caring.
Ah, sí. Ajá, ok. Y lo tengo en español también, ¿lo habíamos traducido o lo quieres o lo dices en portugués?
Si lo tienes, me lo das.
Ajá, ok, perfecto. Sí, lo tenemos. Copelia, ¿tienes la traducción en español? Ah, que Copelia se lo va a
Si quieres, puedes empezar yo.
Okay. So, thank you very much to all of you who are here.
Creo que mejor la quitamos y hablamos. Yo te lo
Okay,
tengo.
yeah. I'm sorry. First, I'm
You're broken.
first. Yeah, I'm sorry. First, I want to say that I'm really touched that you all have chosen to be here to see friends, neighbors, my family, other friends from the deaf community. I'm so happy that you chose to come. And our staff, volunteers, our board member, thank you all for being here.
Muy conmovida está Ivette por todos los que están aquí presentes. Gracias por venir, a todos sus familiares, amigos, miembros de la comunidad y participantes de Alice and Caring de Convivir. Muchas gracias por estar aquí.
And also our donors that are here too. Thank you for being here.
También a nuestros donantes, muchas gracias por estar aquí presentes.
So I want to say a couple of words about what we are celebrating today. We are celebrating the vision of Con-Vivir. Con-Vivir is Spanish for living well together.
Queremos compartir un poquito de lo que significa el centro de lo que estamos celebrando hoy, que es convivir, que significa vivir juntos.
So the name of Con-Vivir came because I believe in the importance of relationships, that relationships really matter. They matter for our health and for our well-being. And it comes also from a personal story that I'll tell you.
La palabra, el nombre del centro Convivir viene a partir de que es muy importante las relaciones personales y también es importante o tiene relación a una historia personal que nos va a compartir Ivette.
So when I was growing up, my parents who are deaf and my siblings, they pointed out that it was not their hearing loss what was the problem, but loneliness, the lack of connections, the lack of opportunities that came because they didn't have the relationships that they needed and therefore no limited access to opportunities. And
Creciendo, cuando Ivette iba creciendo en su familia, sus hermanos y sus padres no podían escuchar, eran sordos, y compartieron con ella que no era tanta la limitación de no poder escuchar, en sí era la soledad o el sentirse alejados de actividades y personas, no poderse comunicar.
so when I was growing up, my mother became depressed. And it was not because she was deaf, but because she longed to be connected to the community. She wanted to make friends, she wanted to be involved in school, she wanted to be able to use her talents. And we were lucky that when I was about 12 years old, she met someone who took interest in helping her. And she discovered that she had a passion for teaching children who are deaf. She became a teacher of deaf kids. And then we got her back. She was alive for us and for herself. And she also had a renewed sense of self-agency that has stayed with us, with her for up until now. And so from my personal experience, I know that when people get the help and somebody can see you, you can flourish. And the vision of Con-Vivir is that of we wanted to create a center where people could feel welcome, where people could feel understood by others. And for many of us who are immigrants, when we come to this country, we lose our families and we are separated from our network of support. And we hope that this building will be for those who are separated from their families, or for those who are also different, that find difficult to make connections with others because there's no one there that really it might seem that no one there understands who you are or can be curious enough to see beyond the discapacity or beyond the limitations or the bad habits that we have. We hope that in this center you will find a place where you'll have people who can see you, who have compassion, who can help you discover also your strengths.
Voy a tratar de resumir todo. Empezó compartiendo la historia de su madre, que tuvo una depresión y no se sentía muy bien a partir de que no podía conectarse con las personas, le faltaban las amistades, quería ser diferente, poder relacionarse, utilizar sus talentos, salir adelante. Y gracias a Dios se consiguió una persona o encontró una persona que tomó interés en ella y se dio cuenta del talento que tenía de enseñarle a las personas sordomudas. Es ahí que ella empieza a enseñar a los niños y se convirtió en una maestra. En ese momento, al sentirse ya que aportaba o que podía contribuir a su comunidad haciendo algo que le gustaba, fue que regresó y su familia la tuvo de vuelta a la persona que era, ¿no? Y esa historia es la que IBE quiere que se repita en el centro de Con-Vivir, utilizarse los recursos que cada quien tiene, los talentos que cada quien tiene, para que puedan realizarse y puedan ser todos un agente de bien.
So relationships, if we all think about what relationships do for us, we can see that relationships are the source of information. Many of the connections that we find, the information that we get about how to navigate our life comes from people that we know. Also, access to opportunities come from people that we know that tell us, here's a job, here's something you can do. And also, relationships are a very important source of emotional support and encouragement when we are like dealing with bad habits, but you have someone that is like practicing a good habit. It's contagious. You kind of, because you have this friend who's changing, then you feel more inspired to follow. So it's very effective to be connected with others. So it's the same. We want to create opportunities here in this center where people can meet and others who are practicing good habits, who are trying to develop and move beyond their limitations, so that they, by meeting these other people together, they can develop and grow.
Nos cuenta de que las relaciones interpersonales son muy necesarias, que son la fuente de oportunidades, y es que compartiendo, interactuando unos con otros, es que conocemos de cosas en las que podemos participar, en una oportunidad de trabajo, una oportunidad de ser voluntario o de compartir tu propio talento. También las relaciones personales nos ayudan en situaciones emocionales, ¿no? Nos ayudan a sentirnos mejor, a contagiarnos de hábitos buenos, al estar relacionándonos con personas que tienen buenos hábitos, los adquirimos y esas cosas son contagiosas y es bueno para las personas, para los grupos, para las comunidades.
So many of the people that we serve here, or that we have served, are people who we used to call poor, or illegal, or disabled, or mentally ill. But these are not poor people, or they are not deprived of rich resources in themselves. The people that we work with have many resources. They are very resilient. They are very giving. They are creative, and they have a great capacity to give. Their circumstances are poor. They face many barriers: language barriers, physical, lack of understanding, lack of opportunities. But they have a wealth of inner resources. If we as a society choose to support them, we will all benefit. Everyone will have a chance to become a contributing member of their community. And this is what we are set to do here, to give everyone the opportunity to become a contributing member of this community and the community in South Jersey. And we know that now, like loneliness and social isolation, I have to pause.
Las comunidades o las personas a las que el Centro de Convivir asiste son inmigrantes, personas que no tienen documentos o no están legalmente en este país, personas con discapacidades que no son pobres. Se piensa que son pobres, pero la verdad que sus circunstancias son las que son pobres, tiene muchos recursos, muchos talentos, habilidades de las que pueden compartir y que nos pueden beneficiar a todos en la comunidad si es que podemos, si es que les ponemos y les damos atención. So, el centro lo que busca es esa oportunidad para ellos, para que también puedan compartir sus talentos con todos.
Loneliness and isolation is one of the main contributing factors to the rise in depression, anxiety, suicide, and addictions that are affecting our communities. The pandemic has made things worse. Con-Vivir will help those affected build resiliency and recover as much as possible.
So la soledad, el aislamiento son una de las cosas que quizás han empeorado por la pandemia, y el centro Con-Vivir va a ayudar a todas esas personas que están pasando por esos momentos difíciles de soledad y aislamiento aquí en el centro.
So Con-Vivir will offer counseling. Some of you already toured the building, so we have offices for counseling. We will offer group education, support groups. Sometimes, in my personal experience too, when you are dealing with depression or anxiety, you think that it's only you. And that's why there's a lot of stigma, because we don't realize and we are not communicating with each other about the reality of life, that is tough. And that is actually, and especially maybe now with social media, like it appears that some people have it all together and others don't. But in reality, probably all of our lives are a little bit messy, like most likely. But so that what the group counseling or group support does is that it really allows you to meet other people that are struggling like you, and it normalizes our experience. But also with group counseling, you get to practice with others new skills. So if outside at work you're trying to learn how to set limits or how to speak up, but you don't feel like you have enough courage there or enough practice, the group counseling sometimes helps you to practice with your peers. So that's we will offer also psychoeducational groups. We have many collaborations with one of our partners that is representing here is from the Pinelands Preservation Alliance. Carlos is here. But so we do programs with Pinelands Preservation Alliance where we take youth to the Pinelands to do kayak trips and hiking trips, and it's also like through being in nature and doing these connections, practicing mindfulness and being in nature, and the kayaking or canoeing experience where like it's an opportunity for the youth to work together and to learn how to communicate. So those kind of partnerships. We have another partnership with the Hamilton Art Center where we also they are teaching arts to some of the youth, and we call that also ally therapy. So this kind of experiences that are very therapeutic, and just sometimes it is not through talking that we get to heal ourselves, but maybe sometimes just by expressing yourself and your emotions through art, or just I find that being in nature like really opens your perspective of life, that there is beauty. There's other things that sometimes when we are not paying attention. So this is what we want to offer to people, other kinds of interventions that help us heal.
So el centro va a ofrecer muchos tipos de terapias, consejería individual y de grupo, y a través de colaboraciones con diferentes organizaciones en Hamilton y en South Jersey como Pinelands Preservations, van a tener eventos y campañas en conexión con la naturaleza. Con el Club de Arte de Hamilton van a poder hacer terapias utilizando el arte, dibujando, utilizando manualidades. So, muchas nuevas oportunidades, muchas nuevas formas de hacer consejería para que no solamente sea hablando, sino quizás expresándose a través del arte o a través de la conexión con la naturaleza.
Con-Vivir is an organization of 36 staff members and 8 board members. Maybe Jeff will correct me if it's less or more staff, but I think it's about 36. And all of our staff members are from the different races, ethnicities, ages, genders, and abilities. This is the wealth that Allies in Caring offers. That if you are a person who is looking to connect with someone that can communicate in your language or understands your experience, you can find this here.
El Centro de Convivir tiene más de 35 empleados y 8 miembros de la mesa directiva que representan muchas etnias, países, experiencias, diferentes historias. So, si alguien necesita conectarse con alguien, ellos están muy seguros de que van a encontrar a alguien que tiene similitudes con las personas que necesitan las terapias.
And everyone who works here does it because we care about wanting to be of service. All of us have our own story of having experienced some kind of suffering, and we are touched by that, and we want to make sure that we can alleviate the suffering of other people. And we also, our greatest joy when I talk to my staff about why do they do this difficult job, most of them do it, they say, because it brings them pleasure to know when somebody makes a little bit of progress. So this is the people that are working in Allies in Caring are committed from their heart to really make a difference in people, to help them find their way.
El grupo de personas que trabajan en Convivir es especial porque les importa las historias de las personas que se atienden aquí, en especial porque ellos también tienen su propia historia de haber atravesado por alguna experiencia dolorosa y todo eso lo hace especial, ¿no? Es algo que los motiva, es algo que con conversaciones con Ibe comparten con ella de que sienten orgullo o se sienten realizados cuando las personas muestran un poco de progreso, las personas que están teniendo terapia con ellos. Y eso es lo que hace el grupo mejor, ¿no?
Over the past 9 years, we have used libraries and other centers like the Stockton Hall. We used the Center for Family Services. We are very grateful that they let us use their space when we had events or staff meetings. And we are very happy that we finally have our own space here. Because one of our missions is to support the development of bilingual or people who are interested in working with bicultural, multicultural populations. So we have a very strong internship program here. If you know someone that is interested, send them our way. We are very committed to help them develop clinically. And so we are happy that this center would also expand and support more opportunities for interns to develop.
A través de los años, Convivir o Allies in Caring ha estado en diferentes lugares en donde les han permitido trabajar, en Success Center, oficinas en la Bellevue Avenue, diferentes lugares que no eran propios, y este es el primer lugar que les pertenece, que lo han construido, bueno, que lo compraron, ya construido, y donde y a la vez están agradecidos con todas las organizaciones que les prestaron espacio para poder trabajar. El centro también ofrece internships, internados para aquellos que quieran hacer sus prácticas, o si conocen a alguien que está en el medio de terapias, pueden mandárselo o ponerlo en contacto con el grupo de IBER.
So relationships and collaboration are also important because they create prosperity. When I talk to my husband, who's here, when I talk to him about finding a place for our organization, he asked with what money. But I had already learned from my parents that money is not the most important resource, that the real currency is our relationships. And this center is a testament of that. So the story of how this center came to be is also very interesting, because when I started thinking about it, I was invited to talk at the Creative New Jersey conference, and if you haven't checked Creative New Jersey, you should. So look it up in the internet. There's this organization that is called Creative New Jersey, and they bring creative people from all New Jersey, and they together create wonderful things in the communities. So there I met Earl Jackson, who is the architect responsible for this beautiful building. He's actually a professor at NYU. And he was willing to travel and meet with me and start thinking about what we could create. And at the beginning, I was just going to rent. I was renting another place right here, like a block from here. And the idea was that he will help me design this place that we were renting. But he planted the seed in me that it was not a good idea to invest so much money for a place that we were going to rent, and maybe I could purchase a building. And that was like not in what I thought I could do. So because he planted that, I started thinking, okay, it might be that we can do that. And so he also introduced me to Laura Wally, who from New Jersey Community Capital. They lend money to organizations like ours, like nonprofit. And so I was fortunate that they trust us. And then as I was just putting this in my mind, kind of thinking, oh, this might be possible that we will have a building. I was walking down the street, and then I saw Cassie, who is the director of Main Street, Hamilton, and I told her, Cassie, I just spoke in the phone with this woman who says that they might consider lending us money. And then she told me about this place, that didn't have a sign that was for sale. So she told me that this place is like, but Ray Vega, who's another guy here in Hamilton who owns a lot of different buildings, had already put a bid. And so she told me, why don't you talk to Ray and tell him if he can let you buy the building instead? So I called Ray and I asked him, like, can you withdraw your bid so that we can buy the building? And because you already have a lot of buildings, so we really need this building. So, and so he was willing to do that, and he even told me how much to offer, so I wouldn't go beyond. And so Vicky, who's here, Vicky Joy was a board member at the time, and she was during that journey with me, because at the beginning our board was very nervous to get into this kind of commitment, because of course we were very little, and it was a big thing, a big responsibility for the board. So I'm very grateful to Vicky also, who took the risk with me, that she was willing to say, let's do it. Without really, we had board members who were reluctant, because you, as a board member, you also have a responsibility. So if we don't meet our obligations, the board member then also. But Vicky was willing to jump with me, so we did it, and then we needed money to renovate it, because when we bought the building, it was like run down, and so I had never asked for money. And I was lucky. This woman who saw an article in the paper where I started talking about the idea of having this building, she wrote me a beautiful letter that she wanted to help. And then I'm just telling you this story because it is amazing to me how this is possible just because we are in connection, because someone cares to connect with another person and share their assets and their resources. So this woman, Pushkal, she had experienced fundraising, and so she started teaching me how to create a brochure and how to talk about fundraising. And then I met Patty Miller, and Jeff was here. And so Patty Miller, I was nervous to go ask people, because sometimes it feels personal when people tell you no. And so, but because Patty and Jeff organized a party, a fundraising party in their home that was beautiful, and our neighbors were there. So we had the opportunity to practice and to say how to ask for money. And then Patty and I went to ask at other places, and other board members also went to ask. And of course, we got places that didn't give us money. There were places that just told us, oh, your website doesn't have anyone. Your website doesn't have your board members. I don't know what organization you have, so how am I going to give you money? But that was very good, because then we very quickly went and fixed our website so that people could trust us. So every step that we took, even if people didn't give us money, they helped us find what we needed to do. So this took 2 years of learning and going, and very importantly, not taking it personally when people said no, and just thanking for whatever they were able to give us, their advice or whatever. So I really I'm very grateful for all the people that have given us, and I want to mention them. So we have, I have to pause.
So, nos cuenta Iber en resumen de la importancia de las relaciones en una conversación que tenía con su esposo aquí presente. Le comentaba la idea o el sueño de tener su propio edificio, su propia oficina, y su esposo le respondía con qué dinero, y ella le respondió de que no era importante el dinero sino las relaciones, y el centro de Convivir es prueba de esa verdad, ¿no? De que las relaciones son las importantes. Y B participó en un evento en Creative New Jersey. Allí conoció al arquitecto de este edificio, y a través de muchas otras relaciones con diferentes organizaciones y estando presente en otros eventos, es que pudo no solamente conseguir el edificio, conseguir a la persona que lo estaba a punto de comprar, lo deje de comprar para que lo pueda conseguir y ver. Consiguió una persona que la ayudó a pedir fondos para poder financiar la renovación del edificio. Ella nunca había experimentado eso de pedir dinero, y esta era su primera vez. Esta persona la ayudó, y junto a los miembros de la mesa directiva fueron a pedir dinero a diferentes lugares, y muchos dijeron que no por diferentes motivos, muchos también donaron, pero lo que valora ver es de que sí hayan dicho que no o sí algo contribuyeron, como por ejemplo algunos les decían de que no había información en la página web sobre los miembros de la mesa directiva. Entonces Iber y el grupo de ellos rápidamente pudieron actualizar esa información. So, está muy agradecida con todos ellos y los va a agradecer individualmente.
So our very generous donors have been Atlantic Blueberry Company, TCC Gifts, that is the Verizon store here in Hamilton, the Center for Hispanic Policy Research and Development, New Jersey Blueberry Growers, Ambassadors, Unitarian Universalist Congregation of South Jersey, that's my congregation, American Cranberry Growers Association, Ocean First Foundation, Sykes Family Group, Paris Morris Family. The story of Paris Morris Family is a very interesting one too, just because one time I went with my husband to the museum, to the Philadelphia Art Museum, and I just started talking to this couple. He is Mexican, and about the AIC-ConvivirHub organization. And then in 3 months, they sent a check just like that. So I'm like, oh, they figured out our address. So it's really amazing how people just are willing to give. So the Hamilton Kiwanis Club they left. So but the Hamilton Kiwanis Club is also responsible for this beautiful piazza that we have. So it's one of the members who has a landscaping company who made this possible. So we are very grateful, and I'm sorry that they left without me thanking them. But we also have Kramer Beverage Company that is here in Hamilton. The mayor Didanaro and his family, Hamilton Main Street, Valerie Manton, who's our board member, Patty and Jeff, Myron Hernandez, who was a board member too. So thank you very much to all of our donors. And also I want to thank for this event today. It was possible because of the hard work of Copelia, who is somewhere here, but Copelia, who is amazing, she's there, has been amazing. And Sarah Thompson, who's here, thank you so much. And Diana, who is in Florida, but she has been helping remotely. Also John, who's our amazing videographer. And all of our staff that are volunteering here. I'm really, I'm touched, but I also, I'm really impressed by what is possible when we learn to work together, and that things really can work when we manage to work together. and we can do so much more. And I finally want to thank you for your patience, but I also want to thank my family. And so I want to thank my husband, who's a very wise, gentle, and supportive, reliable man. I really am. It's because of him that I've been able to do this too. And I want to thank my daughter, who helps me remember to make room for play and to have fun, even when I go home and my head is just thinking about work or overwhelmed, and then she invites me to play with her, and I'm like, okay. I have to shift channels and move in that direction. That I'm really thankful that she helps me move in that direction. And to my parents and my I forgot. Yeah.
So, no, luego de agradecer a todas las organizaciones, también está agradeciendo a su esposo por todo el apoyo, a su hija por entenderla y también por recordarle de que hacer tiempo para jugar y para divertirse. Muy agradecida con todos los que han participado. Agradecer a Copelia y a Sara, que han apoyado en la organización del evento, y en sí agradecer a todos los voluntarios, los miembros de los trabajadores de Con-Vivir, los voluntarios que están aquí apoyando el evento y que hacen posible todo eso, que sobresale el que trabajando juntos se puede lograr.
Yeah, I want to say something else before I finish with thanking my family. I want to thank the connectors. You are a connector. So we Allies in Caring is part of the Hamilton Health Coalition, and we have a wonderful network of connectors that are here. So the connectors are really, they help connect members of the Latino community with resources in the community. So they are Spanish bilingual. They are bilingual, but also what is wonderful is that they are so able to develop personal relationships. And sometimes people don't ask for help because they are afraid, especially if you have been as an immigrant. When I came to this country, you sometimes don't know like who's welcoming or not. And so when you find someone that is welcoming, is just so helpful to then move forward. So these connectors that we have are very warm and resourceful, and I'm very thankful that they are here helping us.
También agradecer al grupo de conectores de la Hamilton Health Coalition. Alice and Karen pertenece a la coalición de Hamilton de salud, y en la coalición tiene un grupo de conectores que se encarga de ser el puente entre la comunidad hispana y los recursos que existen en nuestra comunidad de Hamilton. Todos son bilingües en español, y a través de compartir sus historias personales pueden conectarse con aquellos personas inmigrantes en el pueblo que no necesariamente se sienten en confianza de conectarse con alguien porque no saben si es que esa persona está dispuesta a compartir con ellos. So, el tener este grupo de conectores ha servido mucho. Son personas que trabajan muy duro, que donan su tiempo y su energía, tienen muchos talentos. Soy uno de los conectores de la coalición de Hamilton, y Ben nos está agradeciendo a todos en su discurso aquí.
So just the last thanks are for my parents and my siblings. My sister is here. She came from Washington, D.C., so another friend also came from Washington, D.C., so very thankful. But something that I learned from my family, from my parents and my siblings, is that we can do that is possible to do wherever you are. You can do something with whatever resources you have. And so that instead of waiting, sometimes I have been in moments where like I'm just thinking, I'm going to wait for this situation to be better, to have more money, to have more credentials or whatever. But what I've learned is that with whatever credentials, whatever support you have, whatever money, wherever you are, it's always possible to do something. So, and I've learned that from my parents and my siblings, so I'm very thankful to them.
También agradecer a sus padres y sus hermanos que le enseñan algo de que no importa el lugar o las cosas que uno tiene, siempre se puede hacer algo. Siempre, no hay que esperar el momento perfecto, no hay que esperar tener el dinero, la oportunidad. Siempre uno puede hacer algo donde sea que uno esté con los recursos que actualmente tiene.
And this is just a real final thing that I want to say. I'm very thankful to the community of Hamilton because I know when we came here there was a little bit of like, not concern, but just curiosity about what is this going to be and who are you going to bring to this place. So I'm thankful that we have been embraced and welcomed to this beautiful community, and I feel committed to make this a place that is wonderful for everyone in town and that helps us prosper. So thank you to all of you for being here. I'm very happy as I see around to see you all. So thank you. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. There's some crafts if you want to stay and participate. Painting. There's some snacks over that side, and of course we're gonna have live music.